We all know the excitement of finally seeing the poster for the movie we're dying to see. Unfortunately, not every poster quite sticks the landing. So, in this video, I'm challenging myself to create a movie poster for the 2024 disaster flick Twisters. But can I pull it off? Before diving in, it's helpful to get familiar with the movie's current marketing material. So, we have 4 posters. While the teaser posters take a more familiar route and keep things simple, the final poster definitely takes more risks, like having the smaller second Twister in the side mirror. I think a lot of people might miss this detail. Finally, this IMAX poster brilliantly captures the immersive thrill you'd expect to experience in one of their theaters. And a quick shout out to Storyblocks for sponsoring this video. So, the inspiration for the idea I'm going to try and execute comes from a quick scene near the beginning of the trailer where we see a pickup truck being whipped up into the air and smashing through a neon sign. We're going to create something similar but with a slight twist.
Ooh, yeah.
We've got some basic buildings for our motel, but we need a slightly more dramatic sky. I'm just going to mask away the original clouds to reveal the sky underneath. Make those a little bit darker and reduce some of the blues. Then we'll get our giant motel sign in there. I like this one, nice variation in the shape, so we're just going to select that and cut it out. Let's flip that horizontally. And now there's a few sections missing, so we just need to fill those in. I'll copy and paste selections from the existing part of the sign, and then shape and blend them. And another section here, copy and paste, move that over, and then just alter the shape and blend it until we get something like this. Now the sign is magically floating in mid-air, which is never a good look, so I'm going to grab a pole from another image and simply slot that in there. And then adjust those lighting and colours. Next, unless we want our motel to be called Le Tom, we're going to get rid of these backward letters, so I'm going to make a selection, choose a similar colour, and with a soft round brush just going to paint over those areas, and then a rougher brush just so we've got a bit of texture. It's a bit too bright and red, so let's darken it up and we'll decrease the saturation. And for added texture, I've got this image of an old painted wall. We'll clip that to the sign and set it to overlay. Okay, cool. Now when I make videos, it's super handy to have quick access to premium assets to create moments like this. And the cool thing is, I got all that and more from the sponsor of this video, Storyblocks. Storyblocks is a stock media service offering unlimited downloads of a diverse collection of high-quality media, all bundled into one convenient subscription. With Storyblocks, you can quickly search for every asset you need. Let's look for a twister and some windy sound effects. Not that windy. That's better. And maybe some debris flying everywhere. Let's throw that all together.
Groovy.
Storyblocks' massive stock library provides you with everything from video to high-quality images to the best motion graphics library on the market. It's refreshed frequently with commissioned content, with clear-cut licensing and coverage. Anything you download from Storyblocks is 100% royalty-free, enabling you to focus on what's important, create better video fast. Be sure to head over to storyblocks.com/phaserunner or click the link in the description to get access to unlimited stock media at one set price. A big thanks to Storyblocks for sponsoring the video. Now, this is going to be an action shot, so it's time to ramp up the wind and tornado effects. I'm interested in this particular section of this image. It'll hopefully create a nice base of swirling wind, then alter the brightness and contrast, and use a selective color adjustment layer to change the colors, and then we'll mask away this section to reveal the motel below. Okay, that's a good start. You can see how it's immediately shifted the mood of the piece. Let's continue to build that up. And I'm just interested in this top left section from this image, lots of grain and texture. If you remember the iconic poster for 1996 Twister, the use of heavy noise and grain creates a strong atmosphere. It'd be cool to try and emulate that somewhat in this poster. Get rid of the bits we don't want. And some more wind effects on top of the motel. Okay, starting to get somewhere. Let's introduce some debris. This will be great for giving the piece added movement and a bit more depth. We'll put that down there, and I think we'll put some bricks in the foreground, somewhere down here in the bottom right. We'll add a bit of motion blur, something like that, and just darken those up. Okay, that definitely helps give it a bit more definition. Now, this bit's going to be tricky. We want the sign to look like it's been smashed through. I think I've got a rough idea of how to do this. I just need to roughly match the colors and lighting of the sign beneath, duplicate it to fill in the sides. Then I'll simply erase the sections I don't want, and then when I paint away the sign beneath, it should leave us with a nice realistic looking hole. Lovely jubbly. Now, smashing through the sign, we're going to place a pickup truck. Fun fact, the original movie, often dubbed the longest car commercial ever made, featured the 1995 Dodge Ram prominently. Sales for this truck apparently doubled after the film's release. We want to turn on the headlamp, so I'm going to use an exposure adjustment layer to do that. Just increase the exposure and then paint in the necessary sections. And then a color overlay set to Linear Dodge to paint in some glow. With the soft round brush and the flow set to 20%, just going to click a few times until we get something like that. Then we'll just darken up the back of the truck. Considering it's smashed through the sign, we're going to need bits of wood flying through the air, so let's work on that now. I've got this 3D element, just going to put that into position, alter the brightness and contrast, then mask away some bits so the truck isn't concealed too much. Paint some highlights on the parts that are in front of the headlamps, until it looks like this. Let's add some lights to these signs. We'll place this one around the edge of the big sign, setting the blending mode to screen, and changing the hue to an orangey red. I'll then duplicate these. And the ones at the top will be smashed through and turned off, so we're going to reduce the saturation and make them a bit darker. And we'll use a selection from this image to fill in one of the other signs. Next up, I don't want the motel at the bottom of our image to get lost in the poster. It needs to be clear that it's a motel. So we're going to add some window lights to make this a bit more obvious. They'll also be a nice framing device and help with the overall composition. For most of these, all I need to do is set the layers to Linear Dodge and then alter the brightness and contrast. Considering the truck is smashing through various electrical components, I think we'd see a few sparks. These will make for a nice element to include in the poster, and I'm just going to use images of sparklers and fireworks to help achieve different effects. But it's quite easy, mostly just playing with the blending modes and making sure the position is right. That'll do for now. It all feels a bit dull and flat, so we're going to start working on some bloom lighting, and we'll mostly use color fill layers set to Linear Dodge for those. Paint in some around this sign. Yep, that's given it a bit more life. And now for the key poster design element, we're going to incorporate the Twisters title onto one of the signs. And once that's in position, I'm just going to use some layer styles to give it that neon glow look. And from here, it's all about making the final tweaks and adjustments, making sure the attention and focus is pulled to the right places and that everything works and blends seamlessly together. So here's the final result. This one needed a little bit more work before I could call it done. I've developed the tornado a bit more. I think it works better with more definition at the sides, creating a more classic twister shape. Other than that, just a few tweaks. I also had to get a reference to an iconic scene from the original film in there. A little Easter egg only you and I will know about if you've made it this far in the video. If you want to watch me create teaser posters for upcoming blockbuster movies, be sure to watch this video right here.